Hi, this is Adam Sutton from Sutton Business Velocity. Please visit my website, suttonbusinessvelocity.com, where you can learn more about the services my firm offers in support of your total reward strategy. And make sure to visit my YouTube channel, Total Rewards Expert Adam Sutton, where Series 1 has been fully posted. And you have the opportunity to see how ChatGPT's persona of a total rewards expert, similar to a background with mine, had evaluated a few of my blogs. It was quite embarrassing. The scores were terrible. And we just sort of want to move on from that. Although I got to be honest with you, we are here for science. Just remember, we're here for science, and we're not going to take any of this personal. We're going to keep our hardened shell in place so that this way we can do a proper evaluation. So, what we did in the last part is we dug in on a blog's component, so just one area of the blog itself. And really, the intent was we wanted to see what it is that this blog, um, what it was it this piece of the full blog that dragged the score down to whatever it gave me. I think it was like a 7.4 ChatGPT gave me. So what is it that made it a 7.4? And I kind of read it over a little bit and I was thinking about its feedback, and I sort of deduced, I guess, at the end of the day, that this was probably the piece where it had a tough time, sort of understanding it. So I wanted to pull that piece out and get a sense of what the what it would say, or what it would feel about this one particular element. And if you remember, it gave me, I think, a 6.9 to begin with. And after we went through some work to do some revisions, which ultimately looked like this, we were able to get it up to, I think it was like a 9.4 or something to that effect. And now what we wanted to do is explore taking this same situation, this blog, grabbing its content and pasting it into some of the other AI tools. And what we're hoping to see is, do the other AI tools give a similar sort of balance between a before and after? Let's just say I plug it in this way. What do you think about it? And let's move on from, let's make that decision. So I'm going to grab this blog. So there it is. It's now officially copied. And we're going to take a look at Claude. Okay, so I took the liberty of going ahead and adding the persona brand new. Wanted to make sure we had a brand new persona. We created it. So here we are. We've created our new Total Rewards persona, our expert persona. We are going to plug this in, and I am going to take a deep, calming breath, and I'm going to click the button, and we'll see what Claude has to say. Wow. So it gives this a 5.5 out of 10. I mean, I think ChatGPT gave me a 6.9. So this is pretty horrendous. Now, I'm pretty sure it's because it's taking this one sort of piece of the entire blog out of context from maybe the greater blog. But, at this point, devastated, let's just say that, and I'm kind of feeling like it's time to move on. So why don't we move to Gemini, and let's get a sense of what Gemini would be saying. So again, I took the liberty of creating this new persona. It's stepping into our 25-year persona. Let's go ahead and paste the blog. Here it is. God, science, science, science. We're doing this for science. All right. This piece hits on the golden rule. Specific critiques, your score. Experience nuance 7, systemic thinking 6.5, clarity and impact 9. Final score 7.2. Well, it's better than a 5.5. So, okay. So let's continue. We're, again, just deep breaths. We're doing this for science. We're going to take a look now at Copilot. I went ahead and pasted Copilot. So it wants me now to add the blog. I'm going to go ahead and do that. Click the button, deep breath, deep breath. 7.4. So very interesting. So while that's finishing loading, 7.4, and I'm just shooting back over here to Gemini 7.2. So 7.4, 7.2. Let's go back over to Claude really quickly. Claude 5.5. Wow. Wow. All right, Claude, let's just take a quick look here. We'll allow Gemini to finish its thing. Survey data is messy as hell. Which survey? Transparent data. So it says secure, credible market data is required. Understand no one both three companies says. I hope you're reading along with me. I'm sorry that I'm sort of mumbling here. I realize we're about 5.5 or so minutes into this. So it gave me a 5.5. I'm now going to take the revised blog. So here it is up on the screen. And I am going to paste that. Let me copy it first before we do that. So, okay, this is the revised blog, copy. And then let's go back over here to Claude. And we're going to paste the new one in. See what it says. Okay. So Claude started us off here. Let's just go back and make sure I don't mess this up. At a 5.5. And it said something like, wrong here, falls apart at the reality check. Okay. 7.5. Wow. So ChatGPT thinks this blog, when we go ahead and we change it to this blog, brings it to a 9.4, but Claude is saying it's a 7.5. So very, very, very interesting. So again, I think this goes into our let's keep note of this in our sort of AI science experiment world. We only got to a 7.5, even with the modifications that were suggested by ChatGPT. Okay, so we're going to head back over here. I think I might be in Copilot, which I am. Um, so it gave me a 7.4. I am now going to paste in. I'm just being aware of how much time I got to try to keep these videos in this sort of around 10-minute mark. This is the revised. What? I don't know what's going on there. Okay. All right, we're talking 8.6. Okay, so it graded this 7.4, and we elevated now ourselves to an 8.6. All right, so that's Copilot. Copilot was somewhat more in line, I guess, with ChatGPT. All right, so there we ended up 7.2 with Gemini. Let's plug our new one in there and click it because we want to get that score. Look at that. Very interesting. Very interesting. Claude. It was Claude. Let's go back to Claude. Claude didn't say it. All right. We now have a little bit of work to do. Next part is going to be part 5. And in part 5, we are going to take a look at this because I would like to see what ended up happening when we ended up revising it in Copilot and Gemini, getting ourselves back up to about a 9. But for some reason, the revisions in Claude only got us to a 7.5. So I'm interested to see what Claude gave us as feedback. Maybe another tweak will get that one up to a 9. Let's take a look at that. And then we'll also take a look at the Gemini and the Copilot because, I think what I'd like to do is see if the original ChatGPT feedback and the feedback that first round in Copilot and in Gemini gave us that horrific. I mean, those were like low seven scores, I think. So how did we get those up into the eights and nines? Essentially, did we follow its direction? So we're 10 minutes in. I'm trying to really do my best to keep these at the same amount of time. So really, really fascinating results. I'm really loving this a lot. Let's continue on, and I will see you in part 5. Thank you very much for joining.